Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the Visual C# tutorials. We'll be going over creating the GUI for the Hello World application, or the Hello World app. So we'll make a Hello World app in Visual C++, Visual C#. We'll be starting with the GUI. Basically, what do they call it? I forget what they call this design window. I think something like that. The designers will be working with the designer first, and then we'll get into the code in the next video. So we'll start with actual coding. So we will first start a new project by clicking File on the menu bar. We'll go New Project. I noticed Visual Studio is kind of slow compared to JetBrains software. It is a bigger application though. I don't remember Android Studio being this slow. It could, well, it wasn't terribly slow, but maybe it's just my PC, because when I did Android Studio I did it on my laptop. Could just be my PC, because it's not a gaming PC. It's from a few years ago too, so it's not too bad. There's a little bit of lag here and there, nothing crazy. So what we'll do is we will select the Windows Form application again. So not the console app. We'll scroll down to the Windows Form app. Make sure it's the one for C# and not the one for Visual Basic. Click Next. We'll name this one Hello World. I will just call it Hello World. Just like that, and then that's all fine, so we'll just hit Next. Sorry, my voice may change because I'm kind of leaning into the screen. I can't see the text, it's kind of small. My screen's kind of big. The text is kind of small, so I might just be leaning in. So we'll use 7.0 again, I think. So it's just initializing here. Might take a bit. It's a pretty big app. Like Visual Studio is a pretty big application. It's much bigger than like the normal IDEs like VS Code. Has a lot more components in it. It handles a bunch of files at once, like the CSS or XML document, as well as the code files and all that. Waiting for IntelliSense to finish initializing. You can continue working. Okay, we're trying to work in here, so that's not going to work. Apologize for that. Loading designer. Okay, it should be pretty quick. Could have just used the old one, but I guess it's nice to have another project and name it something else. I thought they actually took away Visual Studio, because I guess if you're not using, because before they didn't have VS Code. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys know that, but they didn't have VS Code back in like 2015, like around January 2015 to like about the summer, no, not summer, to like end of April, about there. I used Visual Studio to, we learned C, and C for engineering applications. That was kind of a lot of, there's some complicated math in that class, kind of. I guess because it's engineering versus science, but anyways, yeah, they just had Visual Studio back then. They didn't have VS Code. VS Code came out later. Visual Studio pretty much supported all languages. It still does, I think. But now VS Code's more for like web development and stuff. Basically, you can code anything in there, I think. But Visual, yeah, I didn't know they actually had two different programs. I thought they actually made VS Code to replace everything. But now that I'm back at C Sharp, well, yeah, making Visual C Sharp, you need Visual Studio basically. You can still create C++ and C apps with Visual Studio, but you can just use VS Code basically for that. It's more lightweight. Alright, so anyways, we will continue with the tutorial. So we started a new project. So make sure the toolbox, Solution Explorer, and Properties window are all visible, so you can see them. So visible, make sure auto hide's turned off. Should look like this. We have our properties, toolbox initializing. Okay, we got our toolbox form and our properties. Alright, so we will change the form 1's text property to my first app, which we pretty much already did. We could change it to hello world. So go with that. I think we'll change it to hello world actually. Let's just see what I have here. Apologize for that. Just looking through my notes. Yeah, let's change it to hello world. We may have another box that says hello world. We can just call it hello world 2. So we will, in the properties window, we will click the form first to get the, what's that called, the bounding box. Once you can see those arrows, the bounding box is up. We'll click the text property, and we'll change it to hello world. Goodbye world 2 works pretty good. Either or. So hello world, goodbye world, whatever you want. So name the form, which is basically the window, and then we will change the default size to something that we could fit to. I don't think it has to be exact. Maybe about a quarter of this size would be okay, or more. I'll try to do it bigger for the video just so people can see. I know the YouTube screen's kind of small, sometimes you can't see everything. You may have to zoom in, put it in theater mode if you're on, well, yeah, you're on YouTube. Zoom in on theater mode if you're on a PC, or hopefully you can on your, I don't think you can on a phone, to be honest, but open this on a PC if you can, or like a Mac or Linux, Windows, or whatever. Zoom in. How do you zoom in on a PC? On a laptop, you just put your hands in the middle of the pad and move them away from each other. That zooms it in. On a computer, you can go Control or whatever that is on a Mac and hit the plus sign. That should be able to zoom into the text, and you can move the screen around by just dragging around. That should kind of get you to the place you want. If you're coding along, you can do that on one screen, and in the other screen you can have Visual Studio like half screen it. To half screen something, you just drag something to the corner and then move the mouse back to the middle, I think. Something like that. So you just drag the window, take the whole click the bar at the top, the menu bar, click it. So press a click, hold the click, and then drag it to the side, and then drag your other window to the other side and let go. That should work, at least on a Windows PC. Shout out to this girl in programming in 2015 that showed me that. She showed me how to. I think she had autism, but she was still cool. She was pretty smart. She showed me how to do that. Obviously, she was smarter than me because I didn't know how to do that. So yeah, so that's how you do it. If you don't know how to do it, that's how you do it. I think you can actually put more than one thing up automatically. Alright, so we'll change the size actually. So we'll change the form size to so it doesn't have to be an exact size, so we'll just drag it. We don't need to use the properties window. We can just use the bounding box to something like this. Maybe like that. So that should work. We're gonna put another one there, I think, later on. Actually, I don't think you can do that. I think it'll put it in another tab, but that's okay. So we'll just go with something like that. That's fine. So we will now we're ready to add a button control to the form. So locate the button tool in the toolbox. So we'll click the toolbox, click button twice. The button will appear on our form. We'll drag it to the middle. We will then click the button, get the bounding box up, and then move the size of the button. We'll increase the size. That's pretty good, I think. Something like that. So button 1. So this tutorial won't be very long. The next one the coding part will probably be longer. I might have to set it up, the environment variables. If I do, I'll try to make a video of it. If not, I'll just tell you guys how to do it if it's not already set up. So we will now change the button's properties, I believe. So we'll change the value of the button controls text property to display message. So we'll click the button, get the bounding box to appear, and then we'll click the text value. We'll delete what's in the text column value. We'll then change it to display window. Can do it capitals. Doesn't. I'm not sure actually how the buttons actually look on a PC. I think there actually are. I know maybe OK is OK like that or like that. Not exactly sure. I kind of forgot. So we'll just go with display message, like capital D and then lowercase the rest. We'll go with the capital M space, so space capital M, display message like that. You can do capitals whatever you want. That should be fine for now. So we will continue. So as you can see, the text fit. If the text didn't fit on your button, make the button bigger and the window. So then next we will change the name, I think. So this might be the last, almost the last step. Okay, so we will change the button control's name to reflect the purpose of the control. That's what Microsoft recommends. Obviously you want to have something, you want to have the name of the control, something that reflects the purpose or the function of the button or whatever control you have. button control that you created, that we created in this app, will cause a message to be displayed when it is clicked. The name button 1 does not really basically portray that purpose if you're for a developer, or maybe someone else looking at the code later on. So because this is going to be turned into code, everything in the properties will be generated into a source code. So we'll change the button's name. So we'll click the button, then we'll get to name. We'll change the name to message button using camel case. Message button 1, whatever you want. Message button, message button 1, whatever you want. So that should be fine now. So you can hit, I think you can hit Control S to save. I don't think it saves automatically. So we can just click File, Save All as well. So we're only half done with this app. We'll have to run it. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we'll try it. So let's click the Run button at the top. If it doesn't work, then the environment variables and the .NET SDK need to be fixed. That might be loading, I think. Unless it's already... Was that it? So we haven't run anything yet on this PC, so let me just... something's loading here, got a spinning circle. What happened there? Usually another black box comes up and the GUI should be inside that box. Unless they changed it. Okay, there we go. Is that it? Something happened there and then it stopped. I might just try to set up Rider later on and see if it's faster. Rider might be faster than this, but we'll try. What happened there? Let me click that again. There we go. So we got the, that's the GUI there. If I click the button, there you go. So we got the, that wasn't too bad. So if we, this is our window here. Looks like a standard window on Windows. Well, I'm in night mode, so it's all black and blue. But it maybe is gray and blue, I think, if you're, and these buttons should be red at the top. So you can minimize that, maximize that. It's not scaled appropriately, as you can see. When we maximize it, the button gets shifted to the top left corner. That all has to be changed in the code for it to kind of... there's a word for it in Android Studio, I forgot. It makes everything scale. I don't know what is. I forgot the name. What it was called. I did it last year around this time. There's a lot of components in that with XML and all that. We'll be doing that again later on. I'll do the tutorials for that when I have time, pretty soon, hopefully. But basically, when the whole point of it is that when you click this maximize button, everything should be scaled so that it should stay in the middle. It should, when you resize it. Every time you resize it, it should just stay in the middle. You might have to set something to true or change one of the properties. We'll do that later on, probably probably most likely we will cover that for sure. So don't worry about that. So you can minimize it. You can close when you're done. So when we click the button, nothing happens, obviously. Later on, when we write the code, when we click the button, then another window is going to pop up. So that's pretty much it. That's how you use the run button in Visual Studio. You could probably get You can probably pull a terminal up somewhere and type a code to run the form, and it should run. You can run this in VS Code, I believe, if you save the file. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. To stop the GUI, just click the X and the run will stop. So the app will end after you click the X. So yeah, so that's it for that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. So guys, thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, you can like the channel, like the video. You can subscribe to the channel to support the channel if you like for more programming and investing tutorials. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Take care.